Lesson 7.7, day 2 is on compound interest. So there's 2 warm-up problems. I want you to pause, try them on your own, and then we'll do them together. Number 1 says you invest $1,000 at 2.5% simple interest for 4 years. How much interest did you earn in the 4 years? So remember, simple interest is I equals PRT, where I is the interest, P is the principal, R is the rate as a decimal, and T is the time in years. So I invested $1,000, that's my principal, my starting amount. The rate is 2.5%, so as a decimal it'd be 0.025. And then for 4 years, how much interest did we earn? All we have to do now is plug in I equals 1,000 for P, 0.025 for R, and 4 for T. And then I'm going to multiply these all together to figure out the interest. So 1,000 times 0.025 times 4, and the interest earned is $100. Number 2 says you earn $150 after 5 years at 4% simple interest. How much did you invest initially? So since it's simple interest, we're using I equals PRT. I equals P equals R equals T equals. So we earned $150, there's our interest. It was 5 years, and then 4% is our rate, so 0.04. We're figuring out the initial amount we invested, so our P is our unknown. So we have 150 equals P times 0.04 times 5. I'm going to first multiply 0.04 times 5, and I get 150 equals P times 0.2. Then, to get P by itself, I'm going to divide by 0.2, and I get 750 equals P. So we originally invested $750. So some vocab: interest is the amount earned or paid for the use of money. Principal is that starting amount. Simple interest is what you earn or what you have to pay on the principal only. But compound interest is what you earn on the principal and the interest. So basically, compound interest is interest on the interest. And then annual interest rate is the yearly rate. So this one says you invest $2,000 at 1.5% simple interest for 2 years. What is your total after 2 years? So this is just simple interest. So we're just using our formula I equals PRT. I equals P equals R equals T equals. Our investment was $2,000, our starting amount. Our rate is 0.015 and 2 years. So I'm just going to plug in I equals 2,000 times 0.015 times 2. Then I'm going to multiply those all together, and I get that the interest is $60. Well, it's asking what is your total. So the total is the interest plus that starting amount. So our total is now going to be $2,060. So now it says, what is the total amount of money in an account where $800 is invested at an interest rate of 6.25%, compounded annually for 2 years? So compounded annually, we have to calculate year by year. And I'm going to show you a formula to do that, but I want to show you how this works first. So first I'm going to find the simple interest for 1 year. I equals PRT. So to find the interest, I'm going to do the principal, which was $800, times the rate, which was 0.0625, times the time, and we're going to do this year by year. So we're only going to do it by 1, after 1 year. So we have 800 times 0.065 times 1, and I get $52 in interest. So now, since it's compounded annually, for the next year, our new starting amount is now the principal and the interest added together. So now for year 2, so this was year 1. Now for year 2, I have I equals, my starting amount is $852 because I'm adding the principal and the interest, times that same rate, 0.0625, times another year. Oops, and it looks like I miscalculated on the first one there. It's 800, I did 800 times 0.065. It should be times 0.0625. So this should have been 50. That's my mistake. So that should be 50, which means this would become 850. 850 times 0.0625. And now we get the interest after year 2 is $53.13. So now my total is going to be that principal plus the interest. So my amount is now $903.13 after 2 years. So what happens is it goes year by year and it's charging interest on your interest. So the formula we're going to use for that, so we don't have to do this if we get like 10 or 15 years. I don't want to have to do that 10 times in a row. It works fine for 2, but this is the formula we're going to use. So make sure you highlight, circle, underline this formula. A is the account balance, P is still the principal, R is the interest rate as a decimal, and then T is time in years. So the problem says you deposit $2,000 into an account that earns 3.6% interest compounded annually. Find the balance. So whenever we see this compounded annually, we're going to use that formula A equals P times 1 plus R to the T power. So I'm going to do A equals, P equals, R equals, T equals. So it says we deposit $2,000. That's our starting amount. Our rate, 3.6% as a decimal, is 0.036. And then our time in years, it says 5 years. I'm trying to figure out the account balance. So I'm going to plug this in here. A equals 2,000 times 1 plus 0.036 to the 5th power. Following PEMDAS, order of operations, we do parentheses first. So I'm going to rewrite this as A times 2,000, or A equals 2,000 times 1.036. I'm doing parentheses first, and then to the 5th power. Well, using order of operations, I know exponents comes before multiplication. So in my calculator, I'm going to take in my calculator, I'm going to take 1.036 to the 5th power. Everybody's calculator is a little bit different. Some of you might have a caret key, that little key that's pointing upward. So do that 1.036 to the caret key of 5, and I get 1.1934, right? This decimal that goes on. So what I'm going to do is, without rounding or anything, I'm just going to, in my calculator, hit times 2,000. And that's going to give me the most precise answers. We have A equals 2,386.87. So $2,386.87. Okay, this one says, what is the total amount of money in an account where $1,000 is invested at an interest rate of 3.5% compounded annually for 3 years? So again, A equals P times 1 plus R to the T. A equals, P equals, R equals, T equals. So we know 1,000 is invested, that's our starting. The rate is 3.5% as a decimal, so 0.035, and our time is 3 years. We don't know our balance, so I'm just going to plug all these numbers in. A equals 1,000 times 1 plus 0.035 to the 3rd power. So again, PEMDAS, parentheses, comes first. So I'm going to write this as A equals 1,000 times 1 0.035 to the third power. Then exponents come next, so I'm going to take 1.035 to the third power, and I get 1.1087 ... Then I'm just going to hit times 1,000, and I get A equals $1,108.72, rounded to the nearest cent. All right, the last one says, what is the total amount of money in an account where $2,400 is invested at an interest rate of 6.3% compounded annually for 5 years? So compounded annually means we use our formula A equals P times 1 plus R to the T. So I know 2,400 is invested, so that's my principal. The rate is 6.3%, so 0.063. We always write that as a decimal. And then our T is 5 years. So we have A equals 2,400 times 1 plus 0.063 to the fifth power. PEMDAS, parentheses comes first, so I'm going to do that adding first in our parentheses. So I get A equals 2,400 times 1.063 to the fifth power. Now I do exponents, so I take 1.063 to the fifth power, and I get 1.357, on and on and on. And then I'm not going to round or clear, I'm just going to hit times 2,400, and I get an answer of $3,257.45, rounded to the nearest